Along the Tatanka Bluffs corridor of the Minnesota River, Tom Kalahar can frequently be found fishing for catfish, walleye, sturgeon, or whatever happens to be biting that day. We caught up with Tom on the shores of the river near Renville, where he had just rigged up his line for some hungry fish.
Now we'll see if we can catch walleye. And this is what I'm going to be using. It's a big eye jig, and it's a glow jig. And I just got a kind of a dirty white Mr. Twister tail, and I'm going to throw it out here in this current, and I'm going to try to work where the creek water is meeting the river water, and we'll see if there's any big predators like walleyes or northerns that are hanging around here. If they are, we might catch one. I did catch a 28.5-inch walleye here the last time I fished here, so we'll throw it out there and we'll see what happens. Now, as you can see, the water's about 3 feet deep right here, and that's plenty of water for any type of predator to be hanging out and trying to ambush bait fish.
In rivers, fish tend to stay close to the bottom and in small areas, so it's important to fish a fair amount of real estate to locate where they're hanging out. Tom's got some big heavy jigs on, and it's in constant contact with the river bottom as he slowly bounces it along. He casts where the fresh creek water comes into the Minnesota, as that's where these predatory fish go to eat the bait fish that are flowing in from the slower water.
Because of the turbidity of the water, they use the lateral line on their body in order to be able to pick up the vibrations of your jig as it hits the bottom and bounces along, and they locate it, and then they get close enough in order to actually see it. And so you have to fish slow enough for all that to happen. And if you do, you're going to give that fish every opportunity to find that bait and every opportunity to eat it. And most people, you just simply can't fish rivers like you do lakes. Most people, when they fish a river, they fish way too fast. And it's all about slow. When these larger walleyes and northerns or smallmouth bass, when they hit this thing, they mean business. There's no nibbles, it's boom, and they've got it. And you set the hook properly, you're going to catch it. Here I got a good fish. Oh, this is a pretty good one. And this is on the big jig too, so it could be a big walleye. Yep, it's a big walleye. And a really nice one. Hand land this guy, maybe. Let's see if I can do it. I got the net, but I'm too lazy to get back. This is a walleye pike, and it's 23 inches long, and I'm guessing it weighs probably, about 5 pounds. Yeah, and it's a typical size that you're going to catch on the Minnesota River. There's a lot of big walleyes at the Minnesota River, but it's a very nice fish. I don't try to keep fish much bigger than 17 inches, so this girl's going to go back in the water here, and she'll spawn next summer and create another generation of walleyes.
After catching the first walleye, Tom decides to try one of his homemade spinners.
I just want just enough weight to keep it near the bottom, but not enough in order to impede my feel. And it's a real simple rig. I've been using it for years, and it's caught 28, 29-inch walleyes. It's caught 20-pound catfish, sturgeons, carp, sheepheads, just about everything that swims in the river, turtles. And so I stick with it, whatever works. And sometimes just keep it simple is the best thing. There we go. Now what do we got? I think we got another walleye. Dean, rough fish. Yep. There we are. We got another walleye here. We come to catch catfish, and we're catching walleyes. And I'm going to go ahead and keep this fish because my wife and I love walleye. And if we catch a another catfish or something along the way yet today, we can have a meal of fish. And the rule of thumb for eating fish is let the big ones go, just simply because of of the advisories in the waters these days. You're better off to eat smaller fish. And besides that, smaller fish are just that much easier to cook up. And the bigger fish tend to be your breeders, so it's important to protect the breeding population of fish too. There's a fish. Let's see what we got here. And this is a freshwater drum, a real typical fish of the Minnesota River. This is a little one, and because of the cold water, they are biting extremely light. It's a freshwater drum, and they kind of get a bad rap because they're not a bad eating fish. They got a nice white flaky flesh, and the larger ones I will smoke, and they're excellent smoked fish. One thing I've noticed in the river in the last couple of years is the increase in smallmouth bass, which is a good thing, real nice. And we have a increasing population of shovel-nosed sturgeon.
Tom wants to try for a catfish, so he heads out in his canoe.
People have a fairly negative opinion of what the river is, but remarkably, it's a darn good fishery. It's world-class, as far as I'm concerned, channel catfishing, and there's great flathead catfishing. You know, we didn't have to work too hard to catch a few walleyes. People tend to ignore what they have in their own backyard, so to speak. So. And the Minnesota River is viewed by a lot of people as being foul and dirty, and the water is pretty turbid, but it's basically a pretty clean river. Now, if you look, you can see the heavy current just right out here, and then this bunch of wood, down trees. And like I said, that breaks the current and makes it possible for these fish to not fight the current, to relax. And besides that, the bait fish, they tend to hide up underneath all this wood. And so these kind of places are the hunting ground for all kinds of species of fish. I don't think I've ever been skunked fishing on the Minnesota River. I've always caught something. And that just, that's attributed to the vast amount of species that are in this river. There's almost always something biting here. There we go. Whoa! You got a hit there, guys. I got him, too. He hit it hard. Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, 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 whoa. Well, we don't know what we got. I don't know. Let's see. It's a carp. But you see that? Now, how much fun is that? Whoa! Ah. Ladies and gentlemen, here's carp. A lot of these in the Minnesota River, but boy, I'll tell you, to take kids down and catch these, I've had kids just scream with glee. They break their lines, they do all kinds of things, and I've had kids just think that just the greatest day they've ever had fishing, and all they've caught is a half a dozen of these carp. And these things get big too. They'll get 40 pounds too. So, you know, fishing is fishing, and we don't always have to catch big old walleyes. But I can come down here and spend several days on the Minnesota River and run into fewer people than I do in the boundary waters. And the fishing is as good. So I spend a lot of time down here just for those reasons. Solitude, it's a wilderness experience right in my own backyard. and the fishing opportunities are excellent.